Like I remember once we went into the crowd and I was piggyback riding, I think my MC at the time, and we were like, there was a mosh pit and I lost my front teeth and just like every like chaos and bruises, and we're all like, yeah, I think we should take it down a notch.
The man, the myth, the legend, and according to the lists, the 7th best DJ in the world, Don Diablo. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. How you doing? How you doing, man?
Doing very well, actually. Working very hard on some really exciting projects. So it's been a good week.
That's exactly what we're here to talk to you about. My name is Waters. I'm joined by my co-host Calista over there. Say hi.
You looked a little confused when he said you were the 7th best DJ in the world.
Is that right? Well, I saw the list. DJ Mag has you at number 7. I was like, I got to bring that up.
If it involves me being in the top 10 somewhere, I'm always down, you know? I love it.
Definitely. Now you've got a really awesome new song out, Day and Night, and it's got this sort of vibe to it that reminds me a lot of like driving late at night by myself, volume all the way up, just nothing but me and the city lights. And that's exactly what you're doing in the music video. So I wanted to ask, there's so many places where people can listen to music these days, earphones, out of your phone, speakers, whatever. But is there still something magical about just turning it all the way up and listening in the car?
It is the best place to listen to music still for me. When people ask me like, do you want to come over? I'm like, where is it? It's like, oh, it's like very far. I'm like, cool, I'm on my way, like I love driving by myself in the night. And originally I made a version of the record and I was like, cool, this is cool for clubs and festivals, but I need to make a version that I want to listen to at night, that gives me that night drive kind of vibe. And then when I had to do the video, I was like, I'm just gonna direct the video myself and just do it like I experienced it while making it, and all kind of just reflect those nights when there's like different characters and things happening in the video. It's like very minimalistic, but the idea is like when you're by yourself, you go through all of these moods. Sometimes you feel like a boss. The other time you might feel like very hurt or just very angry or just very aggressive, and all of this sometimes happens during one drive, listening to certain music and getting certain emotions. So that's what the video represents.
And there's been a lot of talk about like multiverses lately with the new Doctor Strange movie, for example. You've really built your own multiverse between music, art, NFTs, fashion, Hexagon, everything that you've got going on. How do you keep up with everything? Because it seems like a lot of work.
Very good question. I generally work 19 hours a day, so it's full on. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of art at the moment. I'm creating a very big sculpture for the harbor in Hong Kong and the city center in Shanghai. This basically sort of depicts the first glimpse of a metaverse that I built a couple of years ago. But I believe in merging all of these things together. For me, it's as cool to headline a big festival, a Lollapalooza in Chicago, as selling a piece of art at Art Basel in Miami, or premiering a show at the Biennale in Venice. All of these things for me are like bucket list goals. So I'm like, why not do all of them, right? Or do more than you could ever have dreamed of, I guess. For me, that's the goal always.
Well, speaking of big dreams, you've actually remixed songs like for legendary artists like Rihanna, Ed Sheeran, Justin Bieber, most recently High by the Chainsmokers. So what, in your opinion, goes into like a great remix?
Ooh, well, I usually look at like, can I give the original a twist that would actually give it that lift, right? When you compare the original with my mix, I'd be like, did I add something to it, or did I actually did I not add anything to it? So that's usually for me the marker. But also now the last couple of years, the requests have been so plenty that I've cherry picked sort of the biggest songs, and so people would be they would recognize something, and then when it's different, when it has my remix mark on it, then they would hear the difference because they know the original record, right? So there's not much use remixing a record sometimes when people don't even know the original, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes that is actually like, I remember I did Levitating for Dua, and everybody knows the original. So for me, it's cool to flip the chords and just to create a slightly different atmosphere in a record. So people are they get that little surprise. And so for me, that's kind of like how I look at doing remixes. But lately I've been really focused on doing originals more. And sometimes you just have good friends, they want you to do a remix and you just oblige, So
Mhm.
I don't like the Chainsmokers. They play both of my remixes in their sets, and they're just lovely guys. So it's just kind of how you weigh it out. Sometimes
Mhm.
it goes down like that.
All right, and I know you've got a new Avicii remix coming as well. So what makes that one so special? Like, why that song?
It's actually, yeah, that makes it special to me for two reasons. Well, one of them being the fact that was the first record I heard from Tim when somebody sent me his music about 10 years ago, I would say,
Mhm.
a little bit over 10 years ago. And then it sampled a record that I grew up on when I was a teenager. It's a Cassius record, French duo, uh, who actually were one of the first acts that I remixed when I was younger. And I was always sort of starstruck by them. Their music was sort of a blueprint for me. And I remember when I did that remix, Zadar called me, and he was in Ibiza. I think it was like with the guys from Daft Punk and Justice. They were at a pool and they were playing the song, and it was in the background, and my mind was blown. I was like, holy shit, I just remixed Cassius. And then the record, My Feelings for You, that the original that Tim sampled was one of the records that I grew up with. And then Sadar from Cassius passed away a few years ago from an accident. Obviously, Tim is no longer there. So that record, that sample, just really had a special place in my heart. And when I got asked and I got the opportunity to do this, it was kind of a no-brainer. It was very nerve-wracking as well, because what do you make out of something like that, right? So but I decided to keep it very Don. They have their own sounds, I have my own sound, and I wanted to keep true to that. And I wanted to ask Tim's dad permission, and that was very important to me. And I got it a few weeks ago, and we're donating all of the income to Tim's foundation to raise for awareness for mental health. And yeah, so it's a very special record to me.
I mean,
That's
it's great that
amazing.
even, all these years later, Tim's music and his legacy still lives on, and artists like you are able to breathe new life into these songs, which is just so good to see.
Yeah, I think yeah, exactly. It's one of those records that hopefully every 10 years gets a new version. First you had the original, then there was Cassius, then there was Avicii, now there's me, and hopefully that record will keep spreading joy, and keep making people happy.
Definitely. So you got us covered for the next decade then.
Now, I got you. We can move on to something else now.
Well, I do actually want to pivot us to something that I know you and I share a lot of interest in. I'm not so sure about Calista, but I saw on your website you've got a live ticker for the price of Ethereum. So none of us are financial experts, but let's talk crypto for a second. Is there any coin that you've got your eye on, hoping that it's going to make a big resurgence this summer?
Good question. Well, actually, my first art pieces that I sold were on Super Rare, which is an amazing fine art NFT platform. And yeah, I have a lot of the rare currency. I think it's going to do really well because they're OGs in the game. I think they have some amazing things coming up in the next couple of years, and they're trailblazers. So I had got my eye on the rare coin, because there's actual utility behind it. There's a good community behind it. I think that's what it's all about. For me, it's not about a pyramid scheme. It's about the story. It's about the community, and it's about what's coming next. And I think the same with Ethereum, right? There's so much that's going to be happening in the next couple of years. We might have a dip now, but wait till you see what's coming next. It's gonna be, again, no financial advice.
Right, exactly.
Never.
I was
But
just gonna say, so if I want to
I
get
remember
into
I woke
it.
up, I was like, my friends were like, "Oh, Don, I think you lost half of your of your savings this morning." I was like, "Yeah, it'll come back in 3 or 4 fold. It's fine. We're hodlers. We hold on for dear life. Come on, we got this."
Yeah. Same.
Okay, well, if I want to get into it, then I'll do the one that you just mentioned.
Yeah, go for, I mean, again, no financial advice.
No.
I'll be calling you,
I think
Don. What did you make me do?
no, I think for me it's like this. It's like art. Like people always they want to buy my work and they're like, oh, do you think this is a good investment? Like, no, I don't know. Like that's not what I don't make investments driven art. I make art. If you like it, you buy it. That's how I buy art. That's how I buy things in general. It's like, do I like it? I don't buy things for resale or financial profit. So yeah, I think that's the most important thing. You have to be it has to do something with you emotionally.
Waters knows crypto. I don't. But now I want to talk about something that I know that he doesn't, and that's TikTok. So
Oh yes.
I actually saw you at a viral video on TikTok where you almost fell off the table at a gig. You were dancing on the table. So
I love how that's
you...
my viral video. It's not it's never about like you were doing actually something serious. It's like you're playing in front of 70,000 people in Las Vegas and you almost break your neck. That's your viral video. There you go.
I'm just gonna say you pinned it, you know, you pinned the
No,
video.
it's true. I get it. Like it's the one thing I always fight about with management and labels and everyone. Like, you have to be on TikTok, you have to do so and so. I'm like, I you know, I cannot, I'm not someone that's going to do any TikTok dances very soon, but yeah, it's, for me, it's, you know, you put some of the stuff up there that reflects your life, and sometimes a few thousand people will see it, sometimes a few million. And I think that's the beauty of social media and TikTok. Everyone can post something today or tomorrow that will go viral. It doesn't matter if you have 1,200 followers or 7 million. So yeah, for me, it's always a surprise whatever what goes viral. I'm like, really, this?
It's always the
Okay.
things that you don't want to go viral that go viral. So
I think that's also, it also shows that it's okay to show things that go wrong, or, you know, or show a more vulnerable side, or, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect.
well, I wanted to ask, based on that video, have you ever actually injured yourself at a show? Because that was a close call.
Oh, I actually fell once. Yeah, I walked on a stage, and there was like, I walked on the booth, and there was like a sort of like a curtain over the booth, but I didn't realize that it was just a small booth, and the curtain was just very big, and there was nothing below the
Oh
curtain, and
gosh.
I fell in this hole. I think I broke a rib, but it was, you know, it wasn't too bad. It was a little sore.
Yeah. Could have been
But
worse, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, it could have been worse. And I remember once many years ago, someone threw a beer bottle in my face. Yeah, and that actually, I went unconscious, and then I had to revalidate for almost a year. So yeah, after that, I didn't play for another year, and I actually didn't. I kind of had stage fright for a while. So it took me
Imagine.
a while actually to even look at a computer to make music, because I used to get really extreme headaches. So I think I've never even told anyone this, but yeah, it's that was actually the reason why, for a few years I was quite timid behind the decks. Now I'm a little bit more, bit more out there. But I used to like go all out. Like I remember once we went into the crowd, and I was piggyback riding, I think, my MC at the time, and we were like, there was a mosh pit, and I lost my front teeth. Someone knocked up. It was, and I was there. I was just sitting there in the dressing room, or like just bleeding teeth, and just like like chaos and bruises. And we're all like, yeah, I think we should take it down a notch.
I was gonna say you party hard.
Yeah, no, it got a little crazy. So
No kidding. Well, I mean, when you live that life, when you are, again, like we talked about right at the start, according to everybody, one of the greatest DJs out there right now, I guess you've got to party hard along with
yeah,
it.
well, now I'm more focused on the music. For me, it's I'm focused on making the best transition, building it the best way, and just really sort of deciphering the art of DJing. That's actually why I put this sort of a series up on YouTube, where I have all of these different areas of music where I'm playing drum and bass or techno or super chill music in areas of my house. One in my bedroom, one is in my toilet, actually, one is in my swimming pool. So I'm just literally playing all around the house, and call it like the art of DJing, because it is an art to actually make the perfect transition. And I really do. I'm still perfecting it every day.
Definitely. Well, since you're kind of obviously one of the people that people look up to now. You know, beginner DJs go, I want to be like Don Diablo. Let's talk about the context from which Don Diablo emerges. You join a long list of very successful Dutch DJs, including one of my other favorite interviews of all time, Tiesto, and a lot more.
Hey,
What is it about that part of the world, do you think, that inspires EDM greatness?
good question. I think we are like here in Europe, especially, and in the Netherlands as well. We're just spoon fed with electronic music. From when we were born. It's on the radio a lot out here, right? It's everywhere. I think in America, for instance, it's more hip hop, it's more country and rock based. Electronic music is coming, but it's not as much on the radio or on sort of daytime visibility as it is over here in Europe and in the Netherlands, which is a very small country, and we have a lot of big names coming from here. But we're very, very critical of our own. So it's very hard to rock a crowd in the Netherlands, in my country. It's the hard. Actually, this weekend, for the first time in 4 years, I'm doing a show in my own country, and I'm terrified, because there's so much expectation, because they're like, out here you're like an international superstar who never plays in his own country, and then there's so much pressure, and like we're very, very we're not as outgoing, we're very dry, like very much like arms crossed kind of vibe out here. But we'll see. It might have changed. There's a pandemic that's been in between, so you never know. We might go a little mental by now out here.
Yeah, and if we take a little break from all the music and all the hard work for a bit, like in between all the projects that you've got so much going on. Have you had time to relax? Like, have you seen the new season of Stranger Things?
I've downloaded it, but
That's a
yeah,
start.
no, yeah, that's a start. Big fan of the show, especially the way they use music in the show. Uh, and but it's a little full on at the moment, because I'm both designing a new clothing line, as well as working on a lot of new music at the moment, and creating new art, both
Mhm.
digital and physical. So yeah, all in all, it's a little crazy. So there's not much time at the moment to watch films or series. So my I guess my relaxed moment is under the shower, just kind of like taking 5 minutes extra, putting on extra hot. And yeah, I think for me it's really, I still feel like I'm very blessed. So for me it is hard work, but at the same time, now is the moment, especially with the revolution in art right now. This is the moment I've been waiting for my whole life, where things come together and you get to combine all of these elements. And I saw this stat, like in the whole NFT space at the moment, I'm actually in the top 5 biggest right now. So for me, that's a big opportunity, and I want to keep the vibe going, because yeah, for me this is music, it's art, and it's tech. So these are the 3 things that really inspire and inspire me, and give me that sort of push to work harder.
Now let's talk legacy real quick for a second, because EDM has changed so much. Music has changed so much. Art has changed so much since you first got started in the mid 90s. How have you specifically managed to evolve, not only staying on the pulse, but really in most things ahead of the curve for 2 decades plus?
For me, I'm still that little boy that, when I was 13, I think I put out my first record, and I was just very excited to put it out and to play it to other people. I'm still the same kid that really wants to kind of just push the boundaries and surprise myself. And I still have fear for everything that I do. I think you have to do things that scare you, right? I think, especially last year, with what I've done within the digital art world, has really been super scary for me. But also within music, I try to have my own trademark sound. There's always that futuristic, sort of texture to everything that I do, but I have to push things forward and look at, what I find interesting, what works with popular culture, and lies within my own boundaries. So that's also why I think in the next couple of months I'll be rolling out some records with some really interesting collaborations. It'll have a different flavor to it, but still with my signature sound. I think as a producer, for everyone's listening out there, if you're a young producer, DJ, the most important thing is you have that very distinct signature in your sound. and then you can make any type of music for the years to come. You could be making reggaeton, pop music, hip hop, country music, but as long as people recognize that little, sort of that little signature in there, then I think you're Gucci.
That's really good advice. Well, thank you for taking so much time for us. I know we went a little bit over what we I told you like 15 minutes, and here we are.
All good, all good, all good. Yeah, of course, no way. Yeah,
it was an
there's
amazing
so much to
conversation.
talk about. It's crazy, right? So
I know. Well, I mean, I was really thinking, like, before we got started, that we throw around the term Renaissance man for a guy who does like 2 or 3 things, but you do everything there is to do in the world of creativity. It's like, you are a real modern day Renaissance man. So there's just so much to cover, and it's so cool.
I'll take the title. I try to explain it to my mom sometimes. She's like, sounds very cool. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like literally, yeah, we did the opening of the Biennale in Venice. She's like, okay, is that like a festival? I'm like, it's basically, yeah, something like this. Or I remember when I sold my first NFT, she was like, it's like, oh mom, she was in the clubhouse at the time, and she was listening in. As it sold, I think, for something like 120 ETH at the time. It's like, oh my god, 120 like euro, and like, or dollars, but like it's not a euro, mom, it's like it's an ETH. Oh, is it but is it like actual money, like Ethereum is actual money, it's crypto, like, oh, but you can actually spend it on something. I'm like, all right, mom, we got this.
Yeah.
I think, to my mom, I'm still just a guy behind his computer messing about. I think that never changed. So I don't think she thinks of me as a Renaissance man. Just thinks me of a nerdy kid playing around with his computer. So I'll take either of the titles, so.
Hey, that's adorable though, that, mom is trying her best to keep up.
She tried her best. It's not she's like, I'm not really, I don't think this music is for me. Like, that's good, mom. As soon as you start liking my music, I have a problem.
Oh no.
I actually saw on your Instagram you were walking alpacas with your mom, right?
Oh yeah. That's something we do on Sundays. Yeah.
Do you own your own alpacas?
No, we don't, but I try to just do the stuff with my mom that's like different, right? So yeah, I think, since I lost my father, it was like the time you have with your parents is very precious. So you have to talk with each other, like have real conversations, or you have real experiences, try different stuff, and just be with them, right? Because most of your youth, you want to try to get out of your house, or you're like, no, don't drop me off at school, dad or mom. And then as you get older, you're like, oh my god, my parents are very cool, like they basically sacrificed so much to raise me. So you want to find out who they really are, what they really think about. Like, did my mom actually, what was her love like without my father? Like, like, they're real people, real persons. So you have to talk to them, and talk to them before it's too late. And that's kind of why sometimes you have to walk an alpaca with your mom.
Wow.
So cute.
Wow. Well, you
So
want to talk
cute.
about a piece of advice that I did not think I'd be getting today, but all right, I'm going to Google. We're going to find alpacas. I'm gonna look that up.
Just do it. Just surprise them. Like, I
Just
think
do it.
that they did so much for us growing up. Hopefully for someone's listening, some of us are not that fortunate to have an amazing father or mother, but there's always someone in your life that did a lot for you very unselfishly, and you need to cherish that and show them that you appreciate that every day as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an extreme privilege to get to know you, Don. This has been so much fun. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's been a pleasure.